Hi. Today, we will explain the storyline of the movie Audrey, which was released in 2024. Okay, let's get straight to the story. A mother named Ronnie Lipsick, known by the stage name Ronnie Willis, is grieving over her teenage daughter, Audrey, who has attempted suicide. Ronnie regrets not being able to read the signs. Ronnie herself is an actress who has won a number of television awards. She and her husband, Cormack, have two daughters, Audrey and Norah, who have disabilities. Audrey has a rebellious character and often tests her mother's patience. A few months ago, Audrey asked her mother to sign a statement declaring that she had completed her community service assignment for her school. Ronnie was initially reluctant to sign because she didn't see helping her disabled sister as community service. Hearing this, Norah was offended, but Audrey felt she had done nothing wrong. She reasoned that if Ronnie really expected Audrey to do community service, it meant that she would have to work at a nursing home every day after school and miss out on various talent trainings. In the end, Ronnie signed the letter. That day, Audrey had vocal lessons scheduled, but her boyfriend Max was going to drive her home. Hearing this, Ronnie again did not agree because it was not a school holiday. Audrey protested and said that she would soon be 18 years old.
Whenever I want. And not a day goes by where you don't violate my human rights!
It was nice of your sister to offer Audrey. She didn't have to.
Shortly afterwards, Max picked her and Norah up. In the car, Audrey said that she couldn't wait to finish school so she could move to Nepal with Max. Norah asked if she could come and if their mother would allow it. Audrey was very annoyed at the question and said that she had the right to manage her own life. On the other hand, Ronnie had also seen several books about Nepal in Audrey's room. That day, Cormack and Ronnie were doing their respective jobs. Cormack was a construction worker, and that day he was going to enlarge a warehouse in a spiritual community. Meanwhile, Ronnie was teaching an acting class for children. After that, Ronnie went to the mall to buy clothes for her two daughters. While trying on a t-shirt, a shop employee noticed her and complimented that Ronnie looked like a young person. Not only that, the shop employee thought Ronnie's face was familiar. However, when Ronnie mentioned some of her television titles, no one claimed to have ever watched them. They instead discussed other, more famous celebrities. Norah herself aspires to become a fencer. The coach thinks Norah has potential, but Ronnie thinks that the training will be expensive, especially because Norah has a disability. After that, they intended to pick up Audrey at vocal lessons, but Audrey wasn't there. Audrey was with Max in his car. Max persuaded Audrey to prove her love for him, but Audrey wasn't ready. Suddenly, Ronnie came and caught them making out. Ronnie was furious, of course, considering that Audrey was supposed to be at vocal lessons. On the other hand, Audrey was also annoyed that her mother was secretly tracking her location with GPS, and inevitably, Audrey followed her mother home.
Are you tracking me?
You! Out of the van! Now!
Arriving home, Audrey said she no longer wanted to pursue a career in entertainment or take other talent classes. She had decided to travel to Nepal with Max and build a house for the poor. Cormack, who was used to their arguments, just watched in the kitchen with Norah. The argument was finally over after Audrey said that her mother had no acting talent at all. Cormack tried to calm his wife down and assumed that Audrey was just trying to provoke her. And unfortunately, Ronnie always got provoked. Unexpectedly, after the argument, Audrey went up to the roof and intended to commit suicide. All the neighbors had gathered in front of their house and tried to change Audrey's mind. Cormack himself intended to lower his daughter down the stairs tied to a pickup truck. When she slipped off the roof many times, Audrey realized that she did not intend to commit suicide. Ronnie persuaded Audrey by telling her to imagine a theater scene, but she suddenly slipped and fell.
Ah, what a fire it is!
Kill me! Audrey!
This left her in a coma in the hospital. The doctor at the hospital said Audrey might take a long time to recover. However, Ronnie denied it and was sure that Audrey would wake up soon. She was even more worried that the injury to Audrey's face would leave a mark and affect her future as an actress. Shortly afterwards, a representative from the new theater rehearsal place called, wanting Audrey to come tomorrow for ID verification. Ronnie agreed to it, not telling that Audrey was in a coma. No one knew what would happen, so she thought maybe Audrey would wake up tomorrow. In the meantime, she would go home to change her clothes. Norah herself still had to go to school despite what had happened. She didn't even bring lunch and her uniform was dirty. The Audrey incident quickly spread throughout the school. A student named Duncan spread a video recording of Audrey slipping off the roof and falling to the ground. Norah thought it was disrespectful and threw her cell phone at Duncan. After school, Norah and Max visited Audrey in the hospital. The next day, Ronnie accompanied Audrey, who had not progressed. She read a book and chatted with her husband for a while. Cormack said he thought the lemon on their tree looked strange. Ronnie admitted to deliberately poisoning their lemon tree for killing Audrey. After that, she went to Audrey's tutoring place where she disguised herself to look like a child Audrey's age to verify her ID. The officer seemed unsure at first, but he finally believed her and told Ronnie to start coming in next Monday. She felt very proud of having successfully tricked the officer. In the parking lot, Ronnie accidentally bumped into Lucinda Domitrov, her idol and future theater teacher. Lucinda was of course angry because of Ronnie's carelessness, but after they talked, Lucinda forgave her. Meanwhile, Cormack started working on a warehouse construction project. Monday arrived. Ronnie, using Audrey's ID card, took Lucinda Domitrov's acting class. During the introduction, she claimed her name was Audrey, and her aim in joining the class was to prove to her parents that she was talented. Lucinda liked her enthusiasm and motivation. Sometime later, it was now spring and Audrey still hadn't come to her senses. Cormack started joining the Bork spiritual group. On his first day, he poured out his grief over Audrey's misfortune. He felt relieved to release his pent-up emotions. On the other hand, Cormack also tried to fix the roof that caused Audrey to slip and repair the bathroom door so that Norah could enter easily. While Audrey was in a coma, he, Ronnie, and Norah also spent a lot of time together. Norah herself has now started taking fencing classes according to her aspirations. Ronnie said that she was no longer cost-constrained. On the other hand, Cormack was involved in the production of adult films to help Bork. Initially, he only held the boom mic, but Bork promoted him to director because he saw Cormack's talent. Unexpectedly, their closeness turned out to lead to a same-sex relationship. Surprisingly, this made Cormack rekindle his passion for his wife. However, he hadn't told Ronnie about this yet. After spending time together at the hospital, Ronnie remembered that Norah was going to perform at a school event for Audrey that night. She and Cormack hurried off. Max was also performing and had written a song for Audrey. They were very proud of Norah's performance. However, Norah admitted that she could not go home with them because she wanted to join the party afterwards. Her parents allowed it as long as she came home by 9 p.m. Meanwhile, they spent time alone on the roof drinking. Here, Ronnie admitted that she felt happier spending time only with him and Norah. She felt a little guilty, but Cormack felt the same way. On the other hand, Norah and Max are now getting closer. At first, they only exchanged messages. At the party, Max expressed his feelings for Norah, but Norah felt bad because Max was Audrey's boyfriend. However, Max said Audrey never loved him.
If you could show me that you loved me.
What about Audrey?
Back to Cormack and Ronnie, when they were having fun, suddenly the hospital called Ronnie. They reported that Audrey had regained consciousness. This news did not make them happy. In fact, Norah screamed in frustration upon hearing it. Audrey returned home in the summer, and the atmosphere at home became gloomy again. Moreover, Audrey still had to lie in bed. A long period of lying in a coma caused her body mobility to be limited. In addition, Audrey also had to undergo physiotherapy. Ronnie and the others took turns helping to bring her needs, such as drinking water, if Audrey rang the bell. Audrey's return brought a setback to the progress in Ronnie's life, specifically in her acting class. On the other hand, Max and Norah's relationship also changed. Max blamed Norah for letting him seduce her while Audrey was in a coma. Not only that, but her other friends also joined in blaming Norah.
Let's call it what it was. Reverse rape.
Norah's fencing class fees were also forced to be stopped to pay for Audrey's treatment at home. Audrey, who constantly rang the bell when she needed something, made Cormack and Audrey feel annoyed because they had no time to relax. Until finally, Audrey could walk normally again. They celebrated it in a small way by eating ice cream in the park. In that place, Cormack unexpectedly met Bork. Cormack actually wanted to avoid it, but Bork saw him in a hurry. He hugged Bork tightly and didn't know that Ronnie was his wife. Ronnie noticed something was wrong when Bork hugged Cormack too tightly, and she accused them of having a relationship. Bork quickly agreed. This is where it was revealed that Bork and Cormack had been intimate. He also revealed that Cormack said his wife had committed suicide after killing their daughter. The celebration turned into a tragedy that changed Ronnie and Cormack's relationship. Not to mention that her identity as Audrey was revealed, and Audrey made a video mocking her mother while dancing. Unfortunately, this video went viral. Ronnie, who is now friends with her idol, Lucinda, tells her about it. Lucinda sees that Ronnie has an acting talent, and she understands why Ronnie pretended to be Audrey, which was to preserve her own dream of becoming a top artist. Therefore, she continues to encourage Ronnie to strive for her dream, not to let Audrey take her position. On this occasion, Lucinda also offered Ronnie the lead role as Medea for their upcoming theater performance. That night, Ronnie found a letter written in Audrey's name. In the letter, Audrey wrote that she regretted having troubled many people throughout her life and behaving in an annoying way, especially towards Norah. She also said goodbye because she wanted to end her life. Upon reading this, Ronnie rushed to Audrey's room and found that Norah was trying to stab her. Norah said that Audrey deserved it and wanted their life to go back to the way it was when Audrey was in a coma. Cormack woke up to the commotion. Ronnie then explained what Norah had done, including the suicide note she had written in Audrey's name. That night, Norah slept in her parents' room. Ronnie, who still had trouble sleeping, heard Audrey's laughter in the TV room. It turned out that she was watching an old broadcast of her mother winning an award for the television program she starred in. For a moment, the two of them enjoyed the show together. However, Audrey tested her patience again. In an effort to contain her anger, Ronnie broke a glass and injured her hand. At that moment, she seemed to get an idea. However, the idea did not materialize until midsummer. Ronnie invited Max to her house. She asked Max to look after Audrey, who was resting all day, while giving him a glass of lemon drink. On that day, she, Cormack, and Norah had to leave because Ronnie was going to perform as Medea. When Audrey woke up at night, she was surprised that Max was by her side. She was confused as to why no one had invited her to the show. Besides, she didn't want to date Max anymore after finding out what he had done to Norah. However, Max managed to get her to relax a little. While relaxing watching TV, Max suddenly threw up and foamed at the mouth. Audrey looked at the glass of lemon drink and realized that her mother had poisoned it. Not only was Max affected, Audrey had also drunk the drink. She tried to hold on and drove the car herself to catch up with them to the venue. Right at the climax of the scene in the theater, Audrey appeared and screamed that her mother had tried to kill her. However, the entire audience just watched in silence. No one moved to stop Audrey. They thought it was part of the show. Plus, Lucinda let Audrey and Ronnie finish the scene. When the show ended, all the audience cheered and gave a standing ovation for Ronnie's performance. Meanwhile, Audrey lay motionless on the floor. Ronnie remembers that day as a day she never expected. To the police officer, she admitted that she initially thought Audrey had come to see her. Audrey had been training as Medea since she was a child. Meanwhile, the police also found various other pieces of evidence that killed Max to Ronnie, such as liquor and lemon drinks mixed with Norah's painkillers. This also included a suicide note written in Audrey's name that was found near her bed. Audrey, who is now back in a coma, is being treated at home. Since then, Ronnie and Cormack's domestic life has been happy again. Norah also enjoys life while holding a new puppy. On the other hand, Ronnie has managed to gain popularity and watches her television program by Audrey's bedside while saying contentedly, "We did it, Audrey."